Today we're in the Salt Our Kaka'ako area and it's a holiday on this Aloha Friday, so I have a little bit more of a casual vibe or mood, if you would. Today we're talking about the process of buying a home. Everything from binging our videos to your first consultation to making an offer, looking at properties, the paperwork, everything that happens during the escrow process, all the way until you get your keys. All of our videos, please leave us a comment or get in touch with us through the links in the description box. Also, let us know where you're watching from. And if you're seriously considering buying a home, please get in touch with Koa or me. We would love to help you. Now let's start with step number one. You're here, you're watching this video, perhaps you've binged some of our other videos. We have about 94 videos currently. Our goal is to release like one every other week. And also thank you to those of you who have subscribed and have been watching this channel. We just grew to 10,000 subscribers. We have over 1 million views. We've been doing this YouTube thing for like the last 2 to 3 years. It's important to note that we are not YouTubers. We are licensed real estate agents. Koa and I have been in this business for over 10 years, which is crazy. YouTube is just a means for us to connect with people that we wouldn't have otherwise connected with. And our hope is just to provide education, insight, perspective, to give all the information that we can ethically give on this channel, and then hopefully have an actual conversation with you about your preferences and go a little bit deeper into the things that you're really interested in. Our videos include neighborhood videos. We are going to be doing more neighborhood videos and actually going back to neighborhoods and getting a little bit deeper. If there's an actual neighborhood that you'd like to see, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to see. But also, 9 out of 10 of our clients are local residents, people who live here that are buying and selling. And that 1 out of 10 often comes through this channel. So again, if you're somebody that's interested in buying, please get in touch with us. If you're anything like me, I go on YouTube and I research places when I go on vacation, and I realize a lot of people are finding this channel as a result of a vacation, and that's totally okay too. But I think one thing that's important to note, again, we are real estate agents. We're not YouTubers. We're also not tour guides. After you've watched our videos, step 2 is get in touch with us and we'll schedule a consultation with you, either in person or over Zoom or over the phone. And during this conversation, I would say it's about 30 minutes of getting to know each other, determining whether or not we're a good fit for each other, and also understanding your preferences. How many bedrooms are you looking at? What is your motivation for moving here? I think that's the most important thing Koa and I often want to understand, so that we can set realistic expectations for you, because as I've said in many of our other videos, living in Hawaii is not just beach, and it's not just beauty, and it's not just this laid-back lifestyle. Like, there's a lot of layers to living in Hawaii. So we want to make sure that we have a thorough conversation with you so that we can custom tailor your search, custom tailor this experience according to what you're looking for. Next, we'll introduce you to one of our trusted lending partners if you are looking to get a loan. I can't emphasize this enough, the importance of working with a local lender, just because it makes sellers feel more confident about your capacity, your ability to close. Also, local lenders understand the nuances of Hawaii real estate. Now, we know that we've got clients, or we've had them before, ones that have their own private lending, especially in California. A lot of California loan officers are licensed here in Hawaii, and we know that those relationships mean a lot, and so in those cases that's totally okay, but we are going to recommend that you connect with some of our local lenders here on island. Nothing in it for us other than making sure that you get the highest possible service. If you are a cash buyer, we are going to look for verification of funds, not because we're being nosy, but because sellers will often ask us for those before we are even able to tour properties. Speaking of touring properties, this is step number 4. We will look to execute an exclusive buyer's representation agreement. This establishes our agency relationship. This also outlines everything that Koa and I are going to do for you. This outlines how we're going to be compensated for what we do. So just know that that's something that we will look to do to make sure that we establish a solid relationship with each other, especially once you've determined that it's us you want to hire in your search. Number 5 is that we're going to curate a list of properties for you through our Dwell Hawaii system. And this we find is extremely effective because it allows us to communicate back and forth directly through the website. You're able to say, hey Mila, I love that property you sent to me because of X, Y, and Z. Or Mila, no, you can take that one off the list. I don't like that one as much. This list is going to come on the heels of that conversation that we had, of course, regarding your preferences, whether you want a home that's got a view, or if you want to be near the beach, or you want something that's a little bit more urban like you see here. Of course, it's going to take into consideration your price as well as your timing. Number 6, we'll schedule property visits, and this is really where it's important that you're pre-approved or that your cash has been verified and that we have that buyer's representation agreement executed, because we can't really even look at properties without 2 of those things in place. And here's something that I thought of recently after a very busy summer. So 9 out of 10 of my clients are local, and anytime I've taken a local buyer to look at a property, it's not without a pre-approval. It's not without a solid intention to buy something within like the next 3 to 6 months. And so I've been taking out a couple of buyers recently that found me from YouTube, you know, in an effort to establish relationships. And I was talking to my husband about this last night, and he was like, whoa, that's kind of a slippery slope if you're gonna say that, but I feel like it needs to be said. If I'm just taking people out on vacation to look at properties, it's taking away from those other 9 out of 10 clients that I serve, local people that are looking to secure homes. And so just know that, I know for some people looking at property is like a hobby and it's a highlight of your vacation, but that's not what we're doing this for. So realistically, if you are in the market, you know, we want to move to Hawaii in the next 2 to 3 years. We're really not the best equipped or the best fit for you to come out here on vacation and just go look at properties and drive around the island, because just frankly, I don't have the time for it. And I also don't want to take away from my other clients. So anyway, back to scheduling property visits. So open houses happen on Sundays, usually between 1 and 5 or 2 to 5. Sometimes they're on Saturday mornings. If we're looking at condos, listing agents have to be present to open the doors for us. You can't just like walk into a condo and access a lockbox. And a lot of other properties as well are owner occupied or tenant occupied and require the listing agent to be there. So there's quite a bit of seriousness that's involved when we go out to look at properties. Usually these property visits are like 30 minutes tops, more like 15. You're gonna walk through the property and determine if it's the right vibe. And then the next step is, if you are truly interested in that property, we'll schedule a second property visit. And at this point, we'll go back in and we'll take an even deeper look at the property before actually writing an offer. All right, we've gone out, we've looked at properties, maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 times over the course of a few weeks to a couple of months. And now you've decided that you've found the home that you want to make an offer on. The offer is like 25 to 30 pages, lots of different disclosures and addenda. Usually the next question is, do you think this house is gonna go over asking? Like, what do you think I should offer? Here on our island, homes are closing at about 98 to 99% list to sales price. So typically you're not gonna be able to like lowball and get an incredible deal of like a $300,000 discount or anything like that. But we'll be sure to guide you through that. We'll look at all of the relevant comparable sales in the neighborhood to make sure that you are offering a price that's fair and justified. After we make the offer to the seller, they've got about 24 to 48 hours to respond to us by either accepting the offer or countering. Sometimes they'll counter the price, or sometimes they'll leave the price exactly where it is and they'll counter terms. They'll want to see like your inspection period a little bit shortened up, but we do try to write the offer as clean as possible. We make sure that the terms are appealing to sellers, because we don't only work with buyers, we work with a lot of sellers as well, so we understand what sellers are looking for when it comes to accepting an offer. The next thing is your inspections and the escrow period, which is usually between 30 to 45 days. The most important part of this escrow process is going to be the J1 inspection. That's usually between 10 and 14 days. I usually like to write it for 12 days. I often will see a counter for 10 days. This is when you get to go in with your professional home inspector. They'll look at the roof, they'll look at the electrical elements, they'll look at the plumbing, they'll look at the structure. Usually cosmetic defects are stuff that will get pointed out, but they're not necessarily points of negotiation. We're looking for things that really affect the value of the home and the function of the home. And if there's anything there that seems like I think we can ask for a credit on this one, or we can get a price reduction, or we can ask the seller to fix this. That's where those negotiations are going to take place. Now, Koa and I really pride ourselves on understanding construction. Koa more than me, honestly. He'll get on his hands and knees and climb underneath the house and look at everything. Koa's also got a lot of experience in construction by buying houses that are like nearly falling down that he has fixed up and turned into total gems. So just know that you can trust us when it comes to really analyzing these properties and making sure that they are of good value and that they are a really good fit to you, and also being able to diagnose, like, hey, if something's wrong with this house, we know exactly who to call. We kind of have an idea of what it's going to cost. We'll be able to navigate all of those waters with you. On the heels of what I just said about the escrow process, it's important to note that disclosures are given after a contract is accepted. We have buyers often that will say, oh, don't we get the disclosures before we make the offer? Don't we get to see the condominium documents before we make the offer? And the answer is no, that's not how we conduct business here. You have to have your contract accepted first, and then the seller will issue you their disclosure statement. You'll get to do your home inspection. You'll have a period where you get to review the condo docs, see all the financials, the meeting minutes, the house rules, the bylaws, etc. After that grueling 30 to 45 days of looking at the survey, all the disclosures, going through all of the negotiations, we say welcome home and we give you your keys. Finally, I'm going to give you a market update like I promised. Mortgage rates, let's talk about that first. Mortgage rates are actually the lowest they've been all year, and this is perhaps an overreaction to an unfavorable job report as well as financial turbulence in the market. Before getting into the single family home market, let's talk about condos. The condo market has gotten very sluggish. Active inventory is up 82%. But even with that, prices are still up ever so slightly, around 2%. Here in Kaka'ako, we're seeing a lot of inventory. Kaka'ako is doing what Kaka'ako does. However, in the luxury space, new construction is still moving forward. Kuile Place sales have picked up. Aliyah sales are still going strong in spite of the sluggish nature of this market right now. Mostly condos are taking a long time to sell because of this hurricane insurance debacle. Fannie and Freddie, I mentioned this on another market update video, but Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac has determined that hurricane insurance premiums need to be at a certain level, and most of the condos here on Oahu don't have the hurricane insurance at that level, and so it's kind of like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Banks can't lend on the properties. It's taking like 30 days or more for properties to go under contract. There's just a lot to look at. And then the escrows have gotten quite long because buyers will get all the way to the end and then they'll realize after the underwriter has looked at the condo docs like, oh, they don't have the hurricane insurance that's needed, we can't close the loan. And it's really making things difficult for buyers and sellers. And so as a result, Governor Josh Green has issued an emergency proclamation which says that the state is going to kick in state insurance when insurance is not available. So I don't know exactly how that's going to happen. This was just announced last week, so stay close to us on more details on that in the future. Now, the single family home market is a stark contrast to condos. Prices are actually up 5%, pending sales are up 3%, list to sales price ratio is about 99%. We're seeing homes still closing over the asking price with multiple offers in the usually suspected neighborhoods like Hawaii Kai, like Kailua, like Mililani. Again, I say this about homes that have something special. They're turnkey, they're renovated, they have an extra living space. We've got a listing right now in Hawaii Kai that totally went off because of that. It's got a view. So we'll be able to help you navigate which homes we suspect, based on the data that we look at, are going to close over the asking price or not. We'll always encourage you, however, especially when it comes to a single family home. That market is so competitive. Inventory remains pretty tight. Although it's up just a little bit, it's still not enough for the amount of people that want to own a single family home on this island. So we will encourage you that when you identify a home that you really want, to really go for it, not to try to think that you're going to lowball, unless it's something that, you know, has been on the market for like 60 days and maybe has gone into escrow and has fallen out. Again, we'll be able to counsel you through all of those scenarios to make sure that you get the result you're looking for. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, please get in touch with Koa or me through the links in the description box if you're looking to buy or sell here on Oahu.